Hey everyone, it's Pat Brown here with another race review. So this is going to be the highlight reel, or the wrong light reel. So ended up with a crash here in the Cat 234 Kitchen Road Crit. This happened on August 25th, 2021. A Pretty much a race that seems like was a even though it was a 234, it seemed like it was like it raced like a Cat 4 race. So my idea, since I had done 118 miles the day before, my plan was actually just to sit in, and if it came down to a sprint, then that would be perfect, and then we'd go from there. So definitely a bit windy today. So when we go up the for the finishing straight, we'll have a cross headwind coming from the front left to the right. So right now we're basically going right into the headwind as we complete this turn. Now it is a right to left headwind. So so that definitely dissuaded some people from actually being able to stay away. So a little bit of an odd race. Typically, I would think that the wind would keep people away from the pack if they break away and get some separation. But it ended up all staying together, and so we'll hit that part of the video. So now we're here crossing the line right now with 2 laps to go. So I've been staying in the back for most of the race here, and now it's time to move up. My average power for the entire race, including these last 2 laps, is only like 234 watts. So a little bit higher variability index than I was hoping for, but I knew even with the 118 miles, it was time to go, and so I decided to spend a little bit of energy there, move up a little bit farther up, because I wanted to be in the first few wheels just in case something really threatening decided to go, and I see those guys up the road, but I know my legs don't have it for that. They're only going to be good for a sprint at this point. So really biding my time here, hoping that one of the two strong teams shows up, or three strong teams shows up. We have Vidacy, we have Bluebell, and we have Doylestown. So, so we see basically just a bunch of random people will just kind of start to take up the chase. I'm a little bit too far forward, about a lap and a half to go than I would like, but the idea is when he flicks the elbow, I just follow the wheel and let some other people take up chase that either have teammates or don't want to see this go. So definitely just trying to be as patient as possible, and knowing that basically you have to risk trying to or risk losing the race to actually be able to win the race. Because if I went now, I would definitely lose the race here. So I see on the left side there's some Bluebell guys, so I push over into the train to get on the back of the sprinter. And I'll even spend a little bit more energy here just so I'm right on the back. And so at this point, with a lap and so a mile and 200 meters to go, I'm thinking I'm in great shape. These two Lido guys will be able to take us to the line, and then their sprinter will be set up, and I'll be set up. But unfortunately, that's not quite how it goes. So one of the lead out guys, I think we're going a little bit too fast. So at this point, one mistake I would say that the Bluebell guys are doing at this point, it was just too fast. Yeah, we were going 29, but there was no one even thinking about coming around at that point, which, I mean, obviously you don't want people coming around, but they just burned off a guy, and then this Jeffrey Watts here on the front, he has to do pretty much a full lap of a lead out, and that's just not really feasible for anyone. So that's a full mile. That's like at this point we're going like 31. So what? That's a little bit less than 2 minutes of an effort going absolute full gas. So I'm thinking we'll still be good if anything. The Bluebell Sprinter will just have to probably go a little bit early, and then that should lead me out pretty well. So I'm thinking right when he goes, I'll be right there ready to go, and I'll be in good shape here. Again, feeling good. I don't have the heart rate right now, but um, I know I'm feeling good. I'm ready to sprint. We basically did zone 2 endurance pace here until the finish. So we're ready to go. Around the 2 corners to go. It was a nice swooping one. And I'm hoping that it stays on. So here's where it starts to go all wrong. We'll take you through it all the way. We get swarmed. I rub front wheels on the back of the Bluebell Sprinter, and then one of the Star Bike track riders decides that it's time to pedal going 38 through the corner. All right, let's take that back again. So at this point, we got just a little bit over 1 lap to go. Now, 2 lead out guys and the sprinter should be able to get us there. Yeah, we're going 33. Now, I'm on the sprinter. Now, basically, ideally, the speed that we would be going is so right behind the sprinter, it's just chaos. Everyone wants to have the sprinter's wheel, and that's really not the case here. So we're just going a little bit too fast. Now, that's something that the sprinter needs to be yelling up to the lead out guys. If we need to go up, down, or really whatever they need to do here. So, one other thing that wasn't brought up when we went through the video the first time here. That is those 2 guys that were up the road, the 2 CS Velo guys that slipped away here with 2 laps to go. They're getting caught while we're going around that corner as well. So right around that time, it's a lot of, the lead out guys end up not being enough. So then there's a slowdown and chaos there. And there's the chaos of the guys being caught, the CS Velo guys being caught there with John Elliston and one of his teammates. So a lot of craziness going on in the final. So at this point, you can still see those 2 riders, and we have them in our sights. Now, in my eyes, really, if your lead out isn't quite able to take you to where you need to be, there are 2 different options, and I think there's only one option. That is, if you get dropped off too early, basically you have to start your sprint right there. Now, you might be leading out some other guys, but it will be safer for you, and you have a lot better chance at podiuming rather than anything else. Now, if you don't go right away, like we're only pushing 800 watts rather than probably the 12, 13, 14 that it should be, like that. So if you don't try to go a little bit earlier, then you're going to get swarmed. So really, you're going to get swarmed, and then you have no chance at the podium. You have a greater chance of crashing and causing issues for other people, which is exactly what happened here. So if I was in that sprinter shoes, I would have just went. Instead of going from the 200-meter mark, you're going from the 300-meter mark. You stay to the right of the road, and so then people have to come around you on the headwind side. So here's where I made my mistake here. I saw him get out of the saddle, so I started getting up and going as well, but I ended up getting pinched in between these 2 riders. And really what I should have done is stayed on the inside of this Bluebell rider and decided to launch my sprint from there. So that was on me. So then I get pinched here. My front wheel, the only way I keep it up is pushing my wheel into his back wheel in order to stay up. And then at this point, that was just frustration watts. Getting up to 14, almost 1500 watts was just because I was frustrated, because I was really looking forward to hopefully even winning this. Now on to the second part of this, why this crash happened. So you see the CS Velo guy, and actually it's a independent rider on the inside. So I don't know if that made a huge difference, but I'm sure people were looking where they weren't supposed to be looking. And then, any little bit of outside distraction can definitely have a big impact on basically just being able to make the turn a little bit better and safer. So the Star Bike rider, you'll see when they're on the inside, they decide to pedal going around an almost 90-degree bend. Even though it's relatively wide on other laps where you're going 32 through it, you can pedal through it. But when you're getting up 39 miles an hour, it's just not safe to try to pedal through these turns. And I don't know if it's just inexperience or what, but that took out a good 10 riders, if not more, and also sent a spectator to the hospital. So hopefully this is a good lesson learned, especially on the last lap through the last corners. Definitely play it a little bit safe. I know we're trying to race for the win here, but if you don't know when you can pedal or not, man, that extra half a second, definitely worth it, especially if you're a younger, less experienced rider, because then that puts everyone else at risk. All right, well, that was another race review, my breakdown of why I think this crash happened, and yeah, if you like these videos, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like the videos, because that really helps these videos be seen by a lot more people, and we'll catch you next time.